Hi, I'm Mike Broman for Techno Buffalo, and welcome to my office. Today's review is the Canon PowerShot ELPH 520HS. Let's find out if this lustrous little elf has what it takes to satisfy your point-and-shoot needs. From a design standpoint, Canon has done an admirable job with this little elf. I really love the boxy design, and it's added this lustrous, iridescent coating that reacts to the sunlight. The PowerShot ELPH 520HS is very compact. Here it is next to an iPhone. But aside from its beautifully glossy aesthetics, the Canon PowerShot ELPH 520HS is plagued by a few design flaws. First off, the camera records to micro SD cards. Now, while that might be ideal for smartphones and tablets, etc., it's really not that ideal for digital cameras, especially users who already have built up a library of the larger standard size SD cards. They're now going to have to buy an adapter, and you're also going to have to buy new micro SD cards, and that's kind of a pain in the keister. Secondly, the battery on this camera is very small. It's about the size of a single AA battery with an 870 milliamp hour rating, which is smaller than most cell phones. Needless to say, in all of my testing, battery life took a tumble. Within about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your usage, this camera was giving me the stage hook. And lastly, Canon shuffled around the rear controls, and it's a lot less intuitive. So it's really not easy to make adjustments if you're used to a standard four-way directional pad with set button in the middle. Although the design suffered some crucial ailments, the interior of this camera was spot on. The menu system was fantastic, the camera features were great too, and the most important thing on this camera, auto mode, was fantastic on the ELPH 520HS. Canon actually expanded the predefined scenes to 58 on this camera, so that is a big boost. For the manual shooter, there's really not a lot. You just have program, auto exposure, and a bunch of different scene modes and digital effects. However, you can adjust the white balance. The ISO goes to 3200. And there's a long shutter mode that allows you to go down to 15 seconds for long exposure shooting. The 520HS has a 12x optical zoom lens, and that's pretty impressive given the camera's diminutive stature. Now for image quality, this lustrous little elf has a standard 1/2.3 inch 10 megapixel CMOS sensor that employs Canon's HS system, high sensitivity, which is supposed to be better in low light. Unfortunately, in almost all shooting environments, this camera wanted to jack the ISO up, and I noticed that the ISO performance was not on par with Canons of yesteryear, similarly priced PowerShots that I've seen in the past. Granted, at the lowest ISO settings, in bright light, macro shots, this camera, the images are beautiful, but it's really not that versatile. You're going to have to rely on the flash. It's going to want to whip that flash out in public like it's its birthday every chance it gets. The ELPH 520HS also captures 1080p HD videos at 24 frames per second. It could do 720p at 30 frames per second. It has standard definition, and it also has super slow motion, but it's at super small resolutions. I experienced a similar result in HD video recording. Low light really took a hit, and I just expected a little bit more out of this thing when it came to image quality. For the average user who's going to post to Facebook, this is going to be fine for you, but if you're really serious about photography, wait for the ELPH 320HS and look to Canon's higher models like the S100. Overall, I was a bit disappointed with the Canon PowerShot ELPH 520HS, and that's a rarity when it comes to Canon cameras. I don't like the micro SD cards, I don't like the short battery life, and I'm not a fan of the cluttered interface on the back here. The camera was a little bit sluggish, and I thought the image quality could have been a bit better, especially when I compared it to the Canons of last year. For the entire review, be sure to go to technobuffalo.com. This is Mike Broman signing out from my office. You guys, keep warm out there.